Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have this vibrant mixed media happy birthday card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I do have a piece of distressed watercolor cardstock here, and I just sprayed a little bit of resist spray on top of it. This is just to create some really cool texture in the background that you can kind of see there when I hold it in the light. And then for even more texture, I brought in some opaque, I believe it's texture paste. And I'm just going to kind of put it in a couple of different areas through this bubble layering stencil by Tim Holtz. And this is honestly just because I really wanted to play with a few things. My texture paste is getting a little dried out, so I'm trying really hard to use it, but I do struggle a little bit with certain projects, especially mixed media ones. So I'm trying to be a bit more creative with the supplies that I own. So you're probably going to end up seeing a few videos that are really me just kind of playing with products to kind of get an idea of what they do and how I want to use them. So I then put this piece of cardstock in my Splat Box, and I have some clean clear water I just sprayed on top with my distress sprayer there. And then I'm going to bring in saltwater taffy distress spray stain and salvage patina spray stain. And then I did also bring in Flickering Candle, which was the Halloween mica spray that Tim Holtz brought out last year, at Halloween time. And you can't get that anymore, but again, I own it, so I really want to use the stuff that I own. But you could, of course, bring in a different yellow color if you wanted to use something similar. I'm trying really hard to use the products that I purchase. I find we kind of get in this loop where we always have to have the new thing, right? And I get sucked into it too. It's really hard not to, because I want to support the designers and I want to support the company so that they stay around, and I just really want to. And then, of course, new things are just super fun to play with. But I'm trying really hard to be very conscious of using the things that I already own as well as purchasing some new things. So nothing in this is specifically new. I'm pretty sure this card is all things that I already own, outside of maybe the metallic Kraft-stock. But otherwise, I pretty much already owned all of these products. So I'm just trying really hard to use what I own and not just have it sit around and look pretty. So I brought in 2 stamp sets just to add some more texture to the background. I have the Tim Holtz Reflections stamp set and the Finnabair Don't Forget to Fly stamp set. These are my 2 favorite stamp sets for adding texture to backgrounds. I don't know why, they are just by far my favorite stamp sets. And I'm going to pull in the Finnabair one here in a second, and you're going to see it. And it's just a really great stamp set if you like circles. I have a tendency towards circles. I really enjoy them. So I do end up reaching for that one and this reflection stamp set by Tim Holtz for the text. So I do end up reaching for those 2 the most, but any stamp set would work for this. These are my preference. And for the colors, I have Picked Raspberry, Evergreen, Bough, and Wild Honey. And they're all the Archival ink minis. So anything I use will be linked and listed down below in the description if you're ever curious about anything that I'm using. But by all means, please ask me a question if you ever want to know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have, and I do read and answer every comment that I get. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to answer them all, but I always do. So if you ever have a question for me, or you're interested in something, or you want to tell me something about yourself, please do. I'm more than interested in hearing. So I have a piece of the purple metallic Kraft-stock. This is the color set. This is the new color set that Tim Holtz just recently did in the different card size, or paper size, sorry. And I have one of those because I thought that this collection was really pretty, and I only had a couple of the colors before, so I thought this would be really fun. So I cut it out of the center of that purple piece that I'm going to use. Purple is the complementary color to yellow, and I have a lot of yellow and kind of orange on my background, so I really chose to use that. And you guys saw that I dried it in between my layers as well, just so that I would get a lot of color variation. And it's just neat. I mean, I used 3 colors and got quite a variation on that background, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, because I love to make things tedious for myself, and I'm sorry I get a little bit out of the frame here, my head is super close to these letters, I chose to cut out the bold text sentiments, and I used the happy birthday one. This is the first sentiment set Tim Holtz did, and I cut it out 3 times of HammerMill Cardstock and then 1 extra time out of the purple cardstock, and I'm going to use the purple one on top of the word birthday. So it still says happy birthday to you, but the birthday is a lot flashier. So I did layer up all of my layers with my Barely Art glue. It is my preferred glue. especially for this because it has such a fine tip. And I really, I love the layers. It just kind of gives you that chipboard effect. I don't know. It's tedious though. And especially if you have long nails like I do. But I mean, I don't mind. I put on a YouTube video and I just sit here and glue letters together. Like, it never really bothers me. I just have so much fun creating. So, and then I really wanted to add a little bit more distressed texture to this little panel. So I kind of cut these notches out, and then I'm going to kind of roll back that cardstock to just kind of create that look. And I'm going to do 2 of them where I roll back, and then just 1 where I kind of cut out a notch. You guys know that I prefer everything to be done in 3s. That's just my preference. It looks good, and it's just what I end up doing all the time. So that's why I kind of lean that direction. And I am going to be doing a video soon on my channel that's going to kind of talk about the direction I want my channel to go in, and you're going to have a face-to-face sit down with me, and yeah. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask me, please let me know. I did mention this in my last video as well, and a couple of people left me some great questions. I'm really excited to answer some of them for you guys, but if anybody else would like to leave me a question, please do. Anything you want to ask me about me or my channel or my life or my crafting journey, whatever you'd like to know, leave me a question and I will happily answer it when I get to that video. I might not be able to answer everything, just depending on how many questions I actually end up with, but because I don't want that video to be crazy long, but we will see how it goes and when this kind of works out for me to record that. So I did bring in my Nuvo Deluxe glue. This is that bottle that's almost empty. You can see me kind of smacking it on my glass mat just to get like the last drop out of there, because I like to use everything that I can. And then of course I had a visit from my one supervisor. This is actually supervisor number 2. Supervisor number 1 is going to show up here in a second just because she can. So I left this footage in for you guys just because I have had comments about my cats jumping in and being kind of around. So I really wanted to leave that in for anybody who is interested in my kittens. We have 5 if you didn't know. So I have a very strong love of animals, especially cats. So I do tend to like to leave in the footage of when they kind of show up. So they like to sit on my desk and they like to sleep in front of my monitor when I'm editing. They actually did while I was editing this video, so it's kind of funny. So here you can see that I'm going to adhere down my sentiment. I've laid it out how I want it to look. And this is about when my number 1 supervisor decides that she needs to see what I am doing. And so so you can see her, she jumped up there and she's got her tail in the way and she's, just kind of generally hanging out, and then she leaves. She just had to see what I was doing, I guess. It was kind of funny. So I just adhered down my sentiment, and I'm back to my Barely Art glue for this. Again, just because I prefer the fine tip, I find it way easier to adhere to use it on things that are thinner. And not that these letters are super horrible, but I don't want a whole bunch of glue to squeeze out as I stick them down, because my background is water, it moves with water, right? So if you have too much liquid glue, the color will pool where the glue is sitting. And now that's a cool effect for certain things, not for what I'm kind of aiming for here though. So I am just going to continue to adhere things down. And I kind of cut out the birthday. My head was in the way for most of that. I mean, I guess you guys don't really need to see all this. I kind of think it's interesting to see, because you have to think that with all that texture on the background, it's actually kind of difficult to get the letters to adhere. So that's why I brought in my acrylic block to make sure that the letters would stay where I put them. They do shift around quite a bit, which is good in the sense that it gives me time to move them, because I am eyeballing this. You could use the word as a template, the one that we cut out. You could try using that piece, but because I added so many layers, it's unlikely that it would let the letters go through the holes of it. So I just eyeballed it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I don't think it's perfectly straight, but I honestly don't think you can really tell either, so I'm okay with it. And then because I have to have all things shiny, I brought in some Moonshine Sequins by Simon Says Stamp. These are probably my favorite sequins. I mean, you guys know that I love pearls if you've been here a hot minute, but these are probably my favorite pearls, or my favorite sequins. Sorry guys, I just got off a 12-hour night shift. I am tired, so I just had to get this done so that I could have my video up for tomorrow morning. So, all right guys, that is the card that I have for you today. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'd love if you'd consider subscribing, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye for now. I am off to bed. So good night. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.